The Los Angeles wildfire roared through the hills, its fiery tendrils reaching homes and forcing families to flee. Amid the panic and destruction, one dog's act of loyalty stopped everyone in their tracks. Max, a devoted German shepherd, refused to leave his burning home. As the flames drew closer and danger mounted, his determination to stay revealed a story so powerful it brought an entire community to tears. What happened next would restore your faith in humanity. Max wasn't just a dog, he was family. A strong, intelligent German shepherd with a soft, loyal heart, he had been with the Daniels family for 3 years. Adopted from a local shelter, Max had bonded instantly with Emily, the family's 7-year-old daughter, and quickly became her shadow, protector, and best friend. The Daniels family lived in a modest home in the suburbs of Los Angeles. Jason, a firefighter, and his wife Laura, a schoolteacher, were devoted to their small family. Max had seamlessly become part of their everyday life, helping Jason with his morning jogs, keeping Laura company while she graded papers, and patiently sitting beside Emily during her tea parties. Their home was always filled with laughter, much of it caused by Max's playful antics. He loved chasing after tennis balls in the backyard and barking enthusiastically whenever Emily's giggles echoed through the house. But beneath his playful nature was a sharp instinct and a deep sense of duty. Max had a way of always knowing when something wasn't right. In the evenings, Max would lie at the foot of Emily's bed, his ears twitching at every sound. He was her silent guardian, ensuring she was safe through the night. To the Daniels family, Max wasn't just a pet, he was their rock, their protector, and their loyal companion. But life has a way of testing the strongest bonds. The day the wildfire swept through their neighborhood would forever change the Daniels family and prove just how deep Max's loyalty ran. It was a hot, dry afternoon in Los Angeles, the kind of day where the air felt heavy and still. The Daniels family went about their usual routine, unaware of the danger creeping toward their home. Miles away, a wildfire had sparked in the hills, fanned by strong winds and the relentless summer heat. By the time the smoke was visible on the horizon, the flames were already racing toward the neighborhood. Jason, with his firefighter instincts, immediately recognized the severity of the situation. He hurriedly told Laura to pack essentials while he went outside to assess the danger. The orange glow on the horizon was growing brighter, and the faint smell of smoke turned acrid. "We need to leave now," Jason said firmly, ushering Laura and Emily toward the car. Amid the rush to evacuate, Max became visibly agitated. His ears perked up, his tail stiff, and he barked loudly as if sensing the impending danger. Laura tried to calm him as she secured Emily in the back seat, but Max resisted, tugging against his leash and glancing back at the house. In the chaos, Jason called for Max to get into the car. But as the family loaded up, Max suddenly broke free, darting back toward the house. "Max!" Emily screamed, her small hands reaching out for him as tears welled in her eyes. Jason ran after him, but the thickening smoke and the advancing flames made it impossible to follow. Inside the house, Max moved with purpose, his sharp instincts guiding him. The flickering flames outside cast long, eerie shadows on the walls as Max headed toward Emily's room. His low, determined growl was the only sound in the growing stillness. Jason stood helplessly by the car, his mind racing. Should he go back into the house for Max? But the fire was closing in, and he had to get his family to safety. With a heavy heart, he made the agonizing decision to drive away, promising Emily they'd come back for Max as soon as it was safe. As the car disappeared down the smoky road, Max remained inside, his loyalty and courage unwavering. What drove him to stay behind wasn't just instinct, it was love. And as the wildfire raged closer, Max's determination to protect his home and his family would set the stage for an extraordinary act of bravery. Inside the burning house, Max stood firm, his keen eyes scanning the room. The air was thick with smoke, and the distant crackle of flames grew louder with every passing moment. Yet, despite the heat and chaos, Max refused to leave. His paws rested on the floor of Emily's room, and his gaze locked onto a small familiar object sitting on her desk, a worn, wooden music box that Emily cherished. Max approached the desk, nudging the music box gently with his nose. It was the one thing that carried Emily's laughter, a sound he could still hear in his memory. With careful precision, he grasped it in his jaws, his ears twitching as the fire roared closer. His instincts screamed at him to flee, but his loyalty kept him rooted. Outside, firefighters arrived at the Daniels' neighborhood, working frantically to control the blaze. As they sprayed water on the advancing flames, one of them noticed movement inside the house. "There's a dog in there," he shouted, pointing to Max's silhouette visible through the smoke-streaked window. The team quickly devised a plan. Firefighter Eric, a young recruit with a soft spot for animals, volunteered to go in. "Be careful," his captain warned. Eric nodded, grabbing his gear and rushing toward the house. Inside, the heat was oppressive, and visibility was almost non-existent. "Here, boy," Eric called out, his voice muffled by his oxygen mask. Max's ears perked up at the sound, but he didn't move. He stood by the desk, guarding the music box as if it were Emily herself. Eric spotted Max and crouched low, extending his hand. "Come on, buddy. Let's get you out of here," he coaxed gently. But Max stayed where he was, his tail wagging faintly, yet his stance unyielding. Realizing Max wasn't going to leave without the object he was protecting, Eric carefully approached and saw the music box clutched in Max's jaws. "That's what you're here for, huh?" Eric muttered, understanding the significance. He gently took the music box and placed it in his pocket. "Let's get you to safety now." With the box secured, Max finally relented, allowing Eric to lift him into his arms. The firefighter shielded Max with his body as he navigated through the smoke and flames, emerging moments later into the clear air outside. The Daniels family, who had been waiting anxiously at the evacuation center, spotted Eric carrying Max and rushed toward him. Emily's tear-streaked face lit up as she saw her beloved dog. "Max!" she cried, throwing her arms around him as Eric placed him gently on the ground. Jason noticed the music box sticking out of Eric's pocket. "Is that?" he began, his voice trailing off in disbelief. Eric pulled it out and handed it to Emily, who opened it to hear the familiar tune her grandmother had once played for her. Tears streamed down her face as she hugged Max tightly. "You saved it," she whispered, her voice trembling. Max wagged his tail, leaning into her embrace, his job done. The flames might have taken the house, but Max's refusal to leave had saved something far more precious: the memories that made it a home. As the Daniels family gathered around Max, their relief quickly turned to awe when Emily clutched the music box he had saved. The small, worn box held more than a melody. It carried memories of Emily's late grandmother, who had given it to her as a gift. For years, it had been a source of comfort, and now, thanks to Max, it was the one thing from their home that remained intact. The firefighters, catching their breath after the intense rescue, watched the scene unfold. Eric, still holding his helmet under his arm, smiled as he knelt to pat Max on the head. "You've got a brave one here," he said. "He wouldn't leave until we grabbed that box." Jason, still in shock, looked down at Max. "You stayed for this?" he murmured, his voice cracking. "You knew how much it meant to her." His hand rested on Max's back, feeling the slight tremble of exhaustion in the dog's body. The family's emotions poured out as Emily hugged Max tightly, tears streaming down her face. Laura knelt beside them, her voice barely a whisper. "He didn't just save a box. He saved a piece of us." As word of Max's actions spread through the evacuation center, others gathered to hear the story. Strangers approached to offer words of admiration, their faces lit with amazement at the loyalty of a dog who risked everything to protect what mattered most to his family. "Not every hero wears a cape," one man remarked. "Sometimes they have 4 legs and a wagging tail." Meanwhile, the firefighters continued their work, battling the flames that had consumed much of the neighborhood. Though the Daniels home was severely damaged, the sight of Max and his family reunited gave the responders a moment of hope in an otherwise grim day. Eric, reflecting on the rescue, shared Max's story with a local reporter who had arrived to cover the wildfire. "In the middle of all this destruction, you see something like that. A dog refusing to leave because he knows what's important. It reminds you why we fight so hard to save lives, no matter what." The story quickly gained traction, with images of Max and his family spreading across social media and news outlets. People were moved by the simple yet powerful tale of loyalty and love, and donations poured in to help displaced families and animals affected by the wildfire. Days later, the Daniels family returned to the site of their home to see what could be salvaged. Amid the ashes and debris, Max sniffed the ground, leading Jason to a partially buried object, a small photo album that had miraculously survived the fire. Inside were pictures of Emily growing up, family vacations, and the day they brought Max home from the shelter. Jason held up the album, his hands shaking. "Even in all this destruction," he said softly, "there's still hope." Max wagged his tail, standing proudly beside the family, as if to say, "I told you so." The Daniels family and Max became a symbol of resilience, love, and loyalty in the face of tragedy. The community rallied around them, offering support as they rebuilt their lives. Emily often told anyone who would listen about Max's bravery, her face lighting up as she recounted how he had saved her most treasured possession. Max's story spread far and wide, inspiring people across the country. Messages of encouragement and admiration poured in, with many sharing stories of their own pets' incredible acts of loyalty. In the days following Max's heroic rescue, his story became the heart of the community. The tale of a dog who risked his life in the Los Angeles wildfire to save a cherished family memory struck a chord with everyone who heard it. News outlets featured the Daniels family and Max, while social media flooded with images of the loyal German Shepherd standing proudly beside Emily and her music box. The local news station ran a segment titled "Max, the Hero Dog of Los Angeles," capturing the family's tearful reunion and Max's incredible courage. Viewers were moved to tears as Emily held the music box close, her voice trembling as she said, "Max saved more than just a box. He saved our memories, our connection to my grandma, and our hope." The Daniels neighbors, many of whom had also been affected by the wildfire, rallied around the family. Volunteers organized donation drives to support displaced families and their pets. A local hardware store offered free supplies to help rebuild homes, while the animal shelter where Max had been adopted set up a fund in his honor to help other animals in need. At the town square, a community gathering was held to celebrate Max's bravery. Families brought their own pets who wore red bandanas in solidarity with Max, and children held hand-drawn signs with messages like "Thank you, Max," and "Not all heroes wear capes." During the event, Jason stood on stage with Max by his side. "This wildfire may have taken a lot from us," Jason said, his voice filled with gratitude, "but it also reminded us of what truly matters: love, loyalty, and the strength of a community." The crowd erupted in applause as Max wagged his tail, basking in the attention. Inspired by Max's story, the town decided to create a permanent tribute. At the edge of the park where Max and Emily used to play, a bronze statue of Max was erected. The statue depicted Max standing tall, his loyal gaze fixed forward, with a small replica of the music box resting at his paws. Engraved on the base of the statue were the words, "Max, the hero of Los Angeles, a symbol of courage and love." The memorial became a place of reflection and inspiration. Families visited to take pictures, share stories of their own pets, and leave flowers, toys, and handwritten notes thanking Max for reminding them of the resilience and hope that can arise even from tragedy. Life for the Daniels family slowly returned to normal, but Max's role in their lives grew even more profound. Emily often carried the music box with her, playing its soft tune as Max lay by her side. Laura and Jason found solace in knowing that, even amid devastation, their family had grown stronger because of Max's unwavering loyalty. Max, now regarded as a local celebrity, took it all in stride. Whether he was lounging in the backyard or accompanying Emily on walks, he remained the same devoted dog who had risked everything for his family. Max's story resonated far beyond Los Angeles. Animal lovers from around the world sent messages, donations, and even portraits of Max to the Daniels family. Schools used his story as a lesson in bravery and compassion, and organizations highlighted the importance of rescuing pets and supporting animals during natural disasters. Through it all, Max remained the same humble hero, a loyal companion who reminded everyone that even in the darkest times, love can light the way.